Oh, God. It's another miserable bloody day, isn't it? It's cold, it's foggy, it's damp. The car's beeping at me. Why are you beeping at me, Madam Fanny? Oh, name that tune. Done it again. Yeah, what a horrible day. Now, the former Minister for Tenting pinged me this morning to say that she was beating today, and I got a little bit excited by that because I took that to mean that she'd become a part-time dominatrix, but no, apparently she was out on a shoot, that kind of beating. Well, the poor sod spending all day out in this. Bloody hell. Right then, darlings, this one could go every which way but loose. I plan to talk to you today. Oh, welcome to today's Daily Diary, by the way. I plan to talk to you today about the train crash TV that has been YouTubers, well, van life YouTubers recently, and how that can be kind of addictive. A couple of recent events, one of them very recent, which the idea is that will lead me into a discussion on when YouTube goes when YouTube goes wrong, and stalking and things like that, and my experience with things like that, because I do have some, but God only knows where I'm going to go with this. So if I don't manage to talk about any of that, please remind me, and I'll talk about it next time or some subsequent time. It is time check. It's 4:20, and it's 8 degrees, but kind of feels a bit colder than that. Mind you, I'm only wearing a waistcoat. It really is the time of year when I should start wearing a jacket. How am I doing for fuel? Oh, 91 miles of range. So we're okay, we'll get there, but I'm going to need to fuel up tonight. Right, so, okay, where should we start? All right, the van life thing. Now, how I first found out about the van life thing and YouTube. When Chinese Madam departed, not through her own volition, it must be said, I had a Ford Galaxy. The reason I had a Ford Galaxy was one of Chinese Madam's many business ventures was to take Chinese students to and from the airport when they came and went from university, and charged them handily for it, of course. Proper little businesswoman, Chinese Madam. There's a reason why she was exceedingly rich, and she was. She never missed any opportunity to earn a penny, and every penny was very hard spent. We fell out once because I took her to see a car that she was thinking about buying. Why are you stopping? I took her to see a car that she was thinking about buying. So we're in my car. I put the fuel in. I paid for everything. And so she said that she would buy me lunch, which is nice. Stopped at motorway services, and I said I'd prefer Burger King to whatever the alternative was, and Burger King was more expensive. And she fell out with me and called me all sorts of things, and she didn't buy me lunch. She said, right, you want Burger King, you can buy your own. So I had to pay for my own bloody lunch as well, on top of everything else. So anyway, yeah, she had this, she had loads of ideas. See, this is why I'm not going to end up talking about what I'm supposed to be talking about, because I go off on tangents. Yeah, she had, when she rocked up here in the Peak District, she made a beeline for the Chinatown area of Sheffield and set up many things. So when students were leaving to go finish their studies to go back to China, she would take the contents of their flat or apartment or room or whatever. They didn't give a toss because they were funded by the Chinese government. They had more money than they knew what to do with. The Chinese government is incredibly generous as long as you sign a contract that you will work for them. After your degree, they will fund everything and give you pay for all of your education. Bloody hell, it's foggy. And give you a very generous living allowance. So they didn't give a toss about their stuff. They just wanted it cleared. So Chinese madam would clear it. By which I mean that I bloody cleared it under instruction. And it would then sit in storage until the next lot of students arrived. And Chinese madam would then flog the gear to and textbooks and whatever to the newly arrived students. And then, yeah, she wanted to do the airport runs as well and do sightseeing trips around the Peak District. So I was instructed to buy an MPV, and I did. I bought a Ford Galaxy. Quite a nice thing, as it happens. So, of course, when Chinese madam left, I say it like that because it sounds nicer than when I kicked her out. Bless her. Broke her bloody heart. Still feel guilty over that. Blood, oh God. Right, let's not get taken by surprise by any floods, shall we? Where was I? What was I banging on about? Yeah, so when she left, I've got a Ford Galaxy. Now, I'd long had the idea, well, for a few years I'd had the idea of having like a car camper thing. This is long before YouTube or anything like that. I had the idea that when the restaurant started closing on Mondays, we used to be open 7 days. I loved that. We started closing on Mondays and I hated it. Didn't know what to do with myself. Used to get quite depressed. So I had the idea, get a car camper, and then on a Monday, sod off somewhere. Spend the night in the camper. Oh, that's where the flood was. Spend the night in the camper, come back on Tuesday. Kind of what I'm now doing in NETTY. So I finally got to fulfill a dream, but in a lot more luxury than I ever envisioned. And that was what I was kind of planning to do, but then the pandemic hit and all of those kind of things. So it never happened. So suddenly I'm in the situation, I've got this Galaxy, and out of the blue, I remembered that I'd had these thoughts. And I thought, well, a Galaxy would make a great car camper, wouldn't it? Didn't have a clue how to do it, or how to convert it, or anything like that. So I'd also become vaguely aware of YouTube. I think at that point I'd found 2 channels that I liked, Hubnut and Project Nigel. So I had an idea how YouTube worked. So I jumped onto YouTube and looked for converting a Galaxy to a camper van, a micro camper, whatever you want to call it. And that threw up a couple of episodes from a channel called, what's it called? Will's Whereabouts. And I quite got into that for a little while. Started watching a few of those. Got some ideas for the old Galaxy. And as it happens, the Galaxy needed an MOT at some point, failed it, needed welding. I didn't have anybody for welding at that point. Didn't have anybody that I knew and trusted up here. So I just flogged the Galaxy. Got a good price for it, actually. And the chap who bought it was delighted with it. So happy days all round. Forgot about the camper. But you know what YouTube's like, it throws you up different channels with similar subject matters. So I started watching a few van life type channels. I properly got into a channel called Camper Vibe, and I started watching some like camping ones as well. At some point I found the Blot Outdoor Show. God, the lovely Chris. I remember being horrified by that. First time I saw an episode of that. I think I was YouTubing myself then. And I said on a live stream, I found a thing last night. It's this guy. He goes out, puts a tent in the middle of a bloody motorway roundabout, spends the night there and gets absolutely howling pissed. I can't believe it. And everybody said, oh yeah, that's Blot. You found Blot. Oh my God. And who else did I find? Like wondering where, oh, those two, oh God, what was that one called? They drove an old Transit, spent a lot of time in Spain. I can't remember what that one's called. Oh, I can I? Oh God, it was something to do with a dog. The Expowers, something like that. So, and I kind of stopped watching them. I did stop watching them, but I can't remember exactly. Well, I suppose roll forward a couple of years, I get NETTY, or there's the prospect of getting NETTY, and for one reason and another, through friends actually, I kind of got into the idea of the van life thing again, but with motorhoming and caravanning, because I had friends who did that, and I'd kind of watch their channels, and that would throw up other channels. And I don't watch a great deal of YouTube. I don't get time, but I've often had half an eye on. Anyway, the point is that over the last few months, I have got well and truly addicted to the van life shenanigans on YouTube. Now, these are channels, these involve channels that I don't watch, people that I'm not subscribed to. I got addicted to the gossip around what was going on in what had began to be called the van life community, and it has been mad. It's been mad this year, and it's compulsive viewing. Not the people in their channels, not for me, but the stuff that has sprung up around the doings. God, it's like a mixture of politics and the children's playground, and I find people fascinating, and I've got well and truly stuck into this, and other things have grown up around it, like the Nomadic Wizard. The Nomadic Wizard, a channel that uses AI, scripted AI, to, well, it kind of became a channel that was designed to roast, as they put it, the people that he considered to be fake van lifers. You know, people who do YouTube full time, make a living out of it, and base it around van life, but don't do what the hardcore consider to be proper van life. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it was pretty clear to me that this Nomadic Wizard character, who claims to be a 70-year-old ex-journalist who's lived proper van life in a knackered old van for 50 years or something, God knows if that's true. I haven't got a clue. Kind of doesn't matter. But it was pretty clear that he had no agenda to roast van life YouTube channels generally. he had a very personal, individual problem with one channel in particular, or dislike rather than problem, and that channel was Mad Mark's Van Life. Now, I didn't watch this guy, but I was kind of aware of him, because if he was kind of a tall poppy in this small sea of a UK van life community, a certain sector of it, if you like. Now, I find all of this fascinating, absolutely fascinating, on a people level, on a sociological level. And I would dip into the odd video just to see what, basically, I think it was watching the Nomadic Wizard, because his first couple of videos, the ones that he did on Mad Mark and the one or two that came after the Mad Mark ones, they were good. They were savage, they were journalistically excellent, they were quite well written, and there was genuine insight, and they were great. So I started looking at these channels because I wanted to know who the subject of, who these people were that were getting castigated by the Nomadic Wizard. And of course Mad Mark was pretty obviously the main target. And so, you know, I'd looked at a couple of his videos to see what it was all about. And I've got no personal opinion on the guy, never met him. But he was doing all right on YouTube. He had 11,000 subscribers. According to him, on one video, he was earning 800 or 900 quid a month. And he, well, seemed to be doing all right. Don't know the guy, never met the guy, not my place to have an opinion. I, generally speaking, I like people, I tend to see the best in them. If I came across him somewhere, no doubt we would get on. I can get on with pretty much everybody, even if I disagree with stuff that they say or believe. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that this Nomadic Wizard stirred up a bit of a shitstorm, didn't he? And there's all sorts of other doings going on, and it becomes tribal. People are taking sides. There are little fallouts, and this is why I said it's like politics and like the playground, because people are siding with one particular faction rather than another. It's like picking a gang at school. Sorry, I'm talking a load again and I've got dry throat, bit of a tickle, and it just kind of escalates a bit, and there's and a charity gets involved, and the next thing you know, there are all sorts of allegations flying around. And this is why I plan to end up talking about when YouTube gets dodgy and has YouTube and virtual online stuff suddenly has real life implications, because suddenly Mad Mark and his new girlfriend, Heimer Poodle Gal, they both delete their channels, and yeah, all videos gone, wallop, bosh. And that fascinated me, because I'm thinking that's quite a thing to do when you've got 11,000 subs and YouTube is your primary, possibly only income, or things related to YouTube, you know, like corporate sponsorships and whatnot. That's a massive thing to delete your channel, and to do it because of negative publicity that you're getting. That means that somebody or some people have bullied or shamed you into losing your self-employed livelihood. Now that's quite a major thing. That's a very real life, massive implication thing. So I found that interesting. Now, a documentary was made, genuinely. If you've got no idea what I'm talking about and you want to have a look, then just search on YouTube for Mad Mark documentary and watch this documentary. It's there's not many videos on YouTube that I'm jealous of. I'm jealous of a lot of Harry's Garage videos, not because of the videos in and of themselves, but because I would love to be doing what he's doing in the cars that he's doing it in. His road trips around France, Spain, Italy, even Wales, Ireland, Scotland, God, the hotels he stays in, and obviously his fleet of cars. I'm very jealous of those. But this Mad Mark documentary, that I'm jealous of that video, because that video is, in terms of a piece of production, in my eyes, sensational. Really, really brilliant. And I'm jealous of that. I would love to be capable of creating a video like that myself. As for the content matter, well, if you watch it, you might well think, my God, what a lot of loudmouth, schoolboy, childish idiocy that is. And in a sense, you wouldn't be wrong, but it's people. It's people. So it's worth watching. It's not long, but it's worth watching in terms of a piece of production. But on a human level, the story is fascinating, and it ends up with somebody losing their livelihood. And it looks like that's kind of just happened again. Right, so I'm going a bit all over the place with this. But, you know, as I said, I've got, hang on, nose blowing coming up. I've kind of got addicted to the gossip and stuff that goes around this. And as I say, the Nomadic Wizard has stirred up a lot of stuff. And he's done other channels. Personally, by the way, I think the Nomadic Wizard has shot his bolt. His very early videos were excellent. I mean, you could argue that they were cruel, that they were ill-advised, that they were unfair, but that was journalistic barb, absolutely at its best, and absolutely not without merit. Nothing was made up, nothing was, you know, it was a kind of wake-up call that, right, you do realise that this person that you're watching and idolising is actually this, that and the other. And I think it was a wake-up call for quite a lot of people who suddenly thought, yeah, you're right, actually. I mean, to take one little example, this guy, and again, this is no personal slight, don't know the guy, haven't got an opinion on him. However, he got a YouTube following, quite a big one. He was held in some adoration, and he put out a video saying that he was going to offer counselling, telephone counselling, life advice, that kind of thing, for 20 quid a pop. Now, when you're untrained, then, you know, to anybody with a professional mental health background, such as I have, that rings a few alarm bells, doesn't it? But anyway, the Nomadic Wizard channel, it just started roasting channels that he obviously doesn't watch. Made a lot of mistakes. He smoothed everything out. There were no barbs. It was all just done. They're not well done. They're not insightful. They're not particularly funny. They're often inaccurate, and but people are still enjoying them. He or she will be making money from them. Fair play, crack on. Not for me anymore. But the early ones, absolutely superb. In the sense of, in an investigative journalism sense. Yes, you could argue that they were cruel, and yeah, they played a big part in somebody losing their livelihood. But anyway, so I've kind of been keeping half an eye on things, because it's still all continued to kick off in many ways between various channels, and there's been a very recent occurrence in the last couple of days. I've noticed that apparently one of the channels that's heavily figured in that Mad Mark documentary has apparently been trolling another channel. The other channel has gone public about it, and the channel that was the voice of sanity and reason, supposedly, on that documentary, they've now gone down the Mad Mark route, and they've just deleted all their videos. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating. So there you go. That's that bit. So then moving on to the trolling and stalker type of stuff, because obviously that's played quite a big part in all of the stuff that I've just been talking about. So yeah, generally speaking, when YouTube goes wrong, or however you want to term it, the bad side, the dark side, and there's many people on social media who will have in some way, shape or form been a victim of this. I most certainly have. Now, I've been lucky on YouTube. I've had people fall out with me. I've had people that were friends no longer be friends. I've had people that were massive members of the community and supporters of the channel fall out and decide to have nothing to do with it. But I've not had any massively negative trolling or stalking incidents as a YouTuber. Maybe I've been lucky, maybe I just attract lovely people, such as you lovely people. I have kind of been involved in something. Now, it wasn't me, but a friend of mine got quite nastily harassed, really quite badly actually, and it was kind of because of me. I was not through any anything that I did personally, but somebody got a right load of flack from somebody, a load of harassment, because they were friends with me, basically. Why they didn't come after me directly, I honestly don't know, but there you go. So it got sorted out. But I have been, prior to YouTube, when I was running singles, where I was kind of, oh hello, what's going on here? What's occurring here? When I was arguably higher profile, if you like, than I am on YouTube, because singles was a lot bigger than my YouTube channel, and probably attracted a very different, or a markedly different type of person, or could attract anyway. I did have I had a troll, whatever you want to call them, and quite a clever one. They were on some kind of spectrum, and I mean that literally. I'm not being disrespectful and casting aspersions. Greetings, Honourable Bridge. they were genuinely on a spectrum, but they were very clever, and they used to just ring me endlessly and just hang up, but literally every hour of the day and night. There was a massive social media campaign all across my social media with some seriously dodgy stuff. You know, make no mistake about it, they were trying to well and truly scupper me. Now, fortunately, well, is fortunately the right word? So that makes it sound accidental. But fortunately, they had nothing really to go on, because I haven't got any skeletons in my closet, and I don't do anything. Well, I mean, I say I don't do anything wrong. I probably do a lot of things that I should be ashamed of, but I do them in live streams and on videos. So it's not like they're secrets. I don't have any nasty, guilty secrets. So he kind of had nowhere to go. But with social media now, you don't have to have hard facts. You can make stuff up. And it kind of got a bit out of hand. And I had to get the police involved. This went on for months. But Chinese Madam was due to move in, and I couldn't have this going on when Chinese Madam was going to be living with me. So I had to get the police involved, and the police took it incredibly seriously, and they sorted it. I didn't press charges. I was, as long as it ended and didn't restart, I was happy not to press charges. I didn't want to get the guy into, and it was a guy, I didn't want to get him into any trouble. I didn't want to give him a criminal record. But yeah, this has just been a bit of an aimless bloody rant, hasn't it? Kind of no purpose to this one, but just, so what has the point of this been? I don't know really. A cautionary tale to be kind out there, but then I'm probably preaching to the wrong people, because you all are kind. You're all lovely. And I'm blessed, really. So I don't know what the point of any of that was. Just that the van life thing, I've found it absolutely fascinating, and I still do. And there you go. There you go. What an utterly bloody pointless one this has been. I should have talked about the Sherpas Lodge again instead, shouldn't I? But there you go. There you go. Right. I'll try and rescue something from it. I'll pretend it's a discussion, and I'd love to hear your views, comments and opinions. I would, actually. Anything you got to say, bang it in the comments. And sorry that that's just been a bit of a waffly rant around the houses. I will leave it there, darlings. Thank you for listening stroke watching, if indeed you have been, and I look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, all the love in the world from me, and on that note, toodle and indeed pip. See you tomorrow. I'll try and have something a bit more focused to talk about. Bye, darlings.
The YouTube channel's not any good, but he's a nice guy. I'm sorry, Mr. Boaty.
Oh. You had me at YouTube videos. Let's go, Boaty.
Boaty's such a great guy, very tall. Such a great guy. I wish Boaty was here in America with me right now.
You twat. Wanker.